look, I get it. You're just a keyboard warrior, and like your mom didn't hug you long enough, and this is your problem. And therefore,
warrior. I love it.
yeah, keyboard warriors, dude, or thumb warriors, whatever you want to call them. But
you go quicker. Maybe in one day, you know what's gonna be, right? So rather
couple
just
hours.
even couple hours. There you go. So you go super fast and trying to see, is it something like I like it or not? So you react really quickly.
because I'm like, well, I don't know how to like make soft forms, so I'm just gonna like make a brutalist triangular wildness thing, you know. So a style derives from my weaknesses potentially.
And if you squeeze your eyes,
It all
you will
blends.
see. There you go. You got a new thing, right?
And I'm excited here, but I'm like, okay, I got the essence here, and I know when something's gonna work. I mean, dude, it's like right now, I can't wait to get to the stage with our latest builds right now. I'm just like, I can totally see like all the holes through this thing and how it's gonna look, and it's just really exciting. Pretty sure I remember sharing these with you, and I was like, yeah, it's here, yay. Wow, I'd say this is probably one of our more controversial posts. This one specifically.
Yeah, definitely is.
Yeah, really excited about this one. When I was assembling this one of the key aspects that makes this different from any of the builds that we had done up before this is build 14 and the Haste lineup. They've all been kind of based on other cars, I think, right?
Yep.
Even though, like, let's say the Dodge Interceptor was based on a movie concept, but it's still based on another car that existed. That was so for a long time. I guess this is probably about a year or so. We're about a year into what we're doing, maybe a little bit more, probably a little bit more.
Really?
Year and a half, 14 builds. And we started, it was taking us like 2 months of build.
Yeah.
We were trying to go fast and we realized it was taking longer. So we're probably like yeah, it's probably, Sakudo probably came about a year and a half into us doing our thing.
And this was the time where you already dropped the Batman bike, right?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. So the Batmobile, I think, was released, and I think the Bat bike and all that stuff is there. And I've always wanted to do a motorcycle with you as well. And I thought it'd be a good chance we had just done the Subaru and the Evo, and I think we both got completely destroyed by that. So I was like, let's try something different. And thankfully you're always up for trying new things. And so we both did motorcycles.
I mean, I wouldn't be able even to think about doing a motorcycle, because I'm doing it with you. You gave me the confidence to say, hey, you know what? Don't worry about it. Just let's having fun.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm really excited about this episode because there's a lot to dive in. Not internally in terms of rendering or action asset or anything like that. It's more the mental exercise doing this kind of design, going out of automotive and going to motorcycle, which is my case is totally something really new.
Have you ridden motorcycles?
No, never. Never. I think I have a massive respect for motorcycle.
Yeah.
Even I like the speed. I love the adrenaline for high speed.
Yeah.
But motorcycle is something unique, something beyond of my comprehension. So I think I have some experience being on the back of the motorcycle, and it freaked me out. Like,
don't tell anybody that. You don't want to be the person on the back of the motorcycle.
I was. That's why I'm regretting.
Yeah, that sounds horrible. I would hate that. Like, dude, just holding on in the back there.
And then you see the road super fast and windy, and just shake, and what's going on? All the gravity shifting away. It's not a really pleasant experience at all.
Yeah, that sounds horrible. Yeah, if you ever get a chance to ride a motorcycle, you definitely want to be the one doing the act of driving it, because it's so fun. Yeah, I don't think I've ever ridden a motorcycle on the street before. And the reason why we're saying this is because it's important for you all to know these simple facts. But I have ridden dirt bikes multiple times, and dirt bikes are incredible. And I've ridden really powerful ones before, and man, I don't know how to describe how fun those things can be and how dangerous they can be, because you can instantly lose yourself on those, literally. but they're so fun. Dirt bikes in the back, like in the woods and stuff, and just full on wide open throttle, ripping through and just like trying to put your weight forward to keep the front down because there's so much torque in the rear, and you just and the looseness of traction too, and just how fun they are.
When it was your first experience?
Oh, I rode a lot of little small dirt bikes growing up, and then like 3-wheelers and 4-wheelers, which are called quads. Rode a lot of that growing up. And then later on, my dad had a really awesome KTM dirt bike that I was riding as well.
Nice.
But I remember this was a quick memory that was really fun that you might enjoy. I remember riding his dirt bike, and we were out in like the woods, and he was like, "Be careful." And I said, "Yeah, sure. Yeah. And then I was just rolling in on the power, and I was doing these loops on this fire road, basically going out and back. And the fire road had like ups and downs and turns, and it was like quite dynamic. And I remember there was this awesome uphill, and I was just pinning it, and I was doing like wheelies all the way up. And then when I got to the top, I was like, okay, I stopped and I started breathing. I was like, all right, you're getting way too comfortable with this. You need to go back and give this back to your dad. Because I was getting to the point where I was pushing the limit of my ability, because I just my first time in years riding a dirt bike, and it was a very powerful dirt bike too. And I was like, so I just gave it back to him. I was like, I think I've had enough. Probably it's time for you to have it back.
That's when your cleverness show up and save your life, because when you get comfortable doing something dangerous, that becomes really dangerous, because you're seeking for more and more and more.
Yeah,
I know this because obviously it's no comparison, but I've been doing BMX, the same thing. You learn, you fall, but as soon the falling is not happening anymore, you feel more comfortable and confident that you're pushing more, and then so on and so on. But when that accident happened, geez. Yeah.
It's horrible. It's almost like, wait, what happened? Yeah. It's the same thing. I remember riding mountain bike mountain bike and bikes and BMX and all that stuff. But
how old are you doing that?
How old I'm when I was doing that stuff? Well, I was riding mountain bikes during COVID, and then I tore my meniscus, so I stopped riding mountain bikes because I'm stupid and I was doing a bunch of jumps and like an idiot. But yeah, I didn't have a license until I was like 19 years old because I loved bikes. I just rode my bike everywhere. And I still love riding a bike. I ride like 30 miles a day. I just love riding. So yeah, it's definitely a part of me. So I love 2-wheeled devices. And this was such a fun process, as you mentioned. I think we both kind of got lost in the sauce of making things. And
the interesting thing, like I never seen that much of your take on bikes. You have the Batman, you have this one. Do you have anything else on bikes? I don't remember.
No, I don't think I've ever really done
at least nothing publicly.
Yeah, I don't think so. I love my fixed gear bike. I like building really cool bikes. I wish I had a picture of that actually. I sold that. I had like a really sick, like all black on black with like full disc moon brake. Like the whole thing was like a track bike. It was awesome. I just love motorcycles. I love the simplicity of a bicycle too, like just the simplicity of it. I love the industrial design, the engineering of it, how simple, like how bikes haven't really evolved really all that much. They're basically the same thing. And so, yeah, I don't think I've done anything, but we grew up with Akira and like Ghost in the Shell and especially Akira with the motorcycles and that, just the imagination, reading those mangas. And like, I was also really obsessed with like other mangas that had motorcycles or like, really unique designs and stuff. I was really into like all of these different like manga magazines and stuff from my youth, and they had like sick models of epic like sport bike concepts and stuff, and I have a vivid memory of it right in my head. I couldn't find the reference, but all of those things had like a deep place in my imagination. So I've always loved motorcycles, and I love like removing the human from the object and just making it something like a visual, like a piece of art, basically. So yeah.
Man, obviously, all these references are on point. I can recon every single one. At least quite familiar. That's the good thing about about our friendship and collaboration through the years. I can see why you pick every single reference. I can see that. I understand why.
Yeah, yeah, you know my way of thinking now pretty clearly. At the time, probably it was still like, oh, that's interesting. You know, we talk about, in my opinion, nothing is really new. It's just a combination of multiple things that make something new. And when we think about a motorcycle, the way we like to look at things, or at least I like to, I know you do as well, is that I like to look at different influences. So I'm looking at like brutalist architecture and concept aeronautics, footwear, some sort of like interesting 90s concept graffiti typography, minimalism watches, wearable technology, like all of these things. And to me, putting that all together and then feeding my mind all of this inspiration is where the imagination kind of comes in. And since this is like a one-off concept, your bike is as well, like not using a base, so not having anything to attach itself to other than inspiration and references. The reference is really key, so you can look at it and go, what about this and what about that? Or, you know, why did I pick this reference? Why am I drawn to it? And then asking yourself and like really sitting with the reference and like meditating on that reference, which has been really fun.
I have to say, man, I have to say that this is something like maybe I'm getting for granted, but now looking back to this and refreshing memories, I remember back then, previously working with you, I was more obsessed of what has been done, what I have to learn from those, right? For imagine if I had to do a bike, I will gather all the actual bikes I like, putting all together and see what I can learn from this. But now looking your approach, which is also similar to mine, I try to avoid any noise or abstraction or real reference from the others. What is the common? What is the reality now? To bring something fresh and new. This is super interesting, man, because I can see that, it makes sense. But if I think about it, it wasn't that long ago. I was literally, taking all if I have to do a motorbike, would be plenty of motorbikes where I like. But this approach, you will be more free, right? To do anything your brain connects each other, creating invisible dots in your mental space and creating something new. Is that even possible?
Yeah, well, I would say that this is probably what makes artists so afraid of AI is like, I'm basically doing what AI is doing. I'm taking a bunch of references and I'm synthesizing them through a diffusion, which is the act of creativity. And whatever comes on the other side is what I imagine it to be. It's obviously much more nuanced because the human creator, we have intuition and all these abstract things that we can't really identify. But really what I'm doing is I'm just taking from what exists and I'm combining them. And difference of what you mentioned is that you might look at a lot of motorcycles. I did also, and I'm going to show that, I did have motorcycles as reference as well. But one of the key references or the key things that I wanted to talk about is I went back to my Pinterest board and I just grabbed a bunch of the key references that were on the Pinterest board. Because those are the key kind of the conduits basically to ignite my imagination, to get me to think uniquely and differently. Obviously inspired by like forms of like Japanese paper work and like origami and like these kind of things. Like I really wanted to make an object that wouldn't obviously work in the sense of like a conventional motorcycle, which conventional motorcycle, it's very comfortable and can be ridden for long durations of time and ergonomic, fits the human form and so on and so forth. I was just looking at like trying to make an object that was intriguing, unique, and different. And these are the key references that I was using, and I was diffusing them down basically. So synthesizing, looking, there's a reason why out of all of the images that of everything that has ever been created, that I'm just picking these ones. One of them is, these are the only ones that I could find on Pinterest. So that's a limitation, obviously. But there's a through line here, right? Everything is studio lit. It's white on white. It's got simple graphics. It's hard edged. When I look at it, I try to simplify and centralize all of my thoughts into like one point, like, why do I like all these references and how do they all relate and how do they connect? And then am I going to synthesize all of these key components and then feed that into what it is that I'm doing? Which seems to work pretty well, I guess. Yeah.
This is super interesting, man. Really cool to see your mental process. I was thinking right now, what if you change the intention for your bike? Imagine I want to see something more organic. You will go with picking totally different reference, right?
Yeah, totally different references. Yeah. Yeah.
But I think because I know your taste, you went straight away to gather all these images for a purpose. You knew you have already a vision in your brain. You don't know exactly in the it kind of a blur image, but
Yeah.
you know the key element it has to has those that feature or design of yours. So you were picking those reference with your blur image in your brain. That one, then collecting all together, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like Gaussian blurring to prompting, basically. It's very similar. I think that's why people are so threatened by this, because it's doing the same thing. It's methodizing the same way.
And super quick.
Pulling the same. Yeah, especially if you're training AI models on points of reference too. And then you're getting really close because you can really direct it, which is awesome. But yeah, so that was kind of, I wanted to kind of break that down and share that, because references are so key, and having good references is like essential. I went to the NHRA Winter Finals or Winter Nationals this weekend. Carlos knows this. And I was taking a bunch of photographs of the tires, and I was looking at the tires and I was like, holy crap, if I had this reference of knowing how this tire is made at this level, I think that it would help us so significantly when making things and synthesizing them in reality. I was like, I didn't realize that there's all these like ripple parts right here, and then there's these lines, and then that looks like that, and then this fall off is here. And it was like another point of like, it's all about references when you're trying to emulate, and references are key. Having a good reference showers here. So yeah, so I did have motorcycles in mind.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it wasn't just industrial design. There's a couple of things that I wanted to give a big shout out of love to, because they're huge inspirations to me. One of them was this bike. I saw this years ago, and this is old now. It's got to be like, I don't know, 15 years old or something.
It's an icon, man. I love this reference. I don't know who made this. Do you know who made this?
It's a design studio, I believe. I think the Mono 07, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, it's a design studio. And then it's just always stood with me. It's like it's the first time I saw this, I was like, oh my God, it's the coolest thing ever. And it's so funny. Like, look at the tire. There's no motion blur. It's just like obviously Photoshop, but it's
brilliant.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's really like kind of like early day CGI epicness. And what thing that still makes this relevant in this conversation now is it's just like super flawless design. And also like, it's like doing all of the things that a motorcycle should do, which is like venting and forms and organic forms and forms that fit to the body and all of these things. And I know it spurred a huge influence to a lot of designers and motorcycle and engineers and stuff from this, because it's just, look at that. It's so beautiful.
Perfection.
It's so beautiful. It's stunning work. And whoever the team or whoever the person that was assigned to do that was just an incredible job. So it was that one. And then there was also like, there's this company called Cake.
Yeah.
I think this is one of Aaron Brimhall's photographs. So I believe this is a photograph that's taken by Aaron Brimhall. And Aaron is awesome. He's an incredible photographer, and he shoots some awesome stuff. So if you're not familiar with him, definitely check his work out.
Yeah.
But I believe this is one of his photographs, but it's like so cool. And the first time I saw a Cake bike, I'm like, man, this is awesome. Yeah, it's just like these awesome EV motorbikes. I think they come from like Sweden or something. They're so cool. And obviously I was heavily inspired by just the concept of it and how cool they look.
Super clean, at the same time, super industrial. Love it.
Yes. Yeah, super clean, super industrial. And like these brutalist forms, like the battery lives in here, but then this is like all super clean. So literally all the references that you saw is kind of like what I imagine Cake used to design their awesome bike, which is just so freaking cool. Big love to that company because they make amazing stuff. Third is this artist that goes by Barbera. This person makes awesome photobashed reconcepts of bikes, and they have thousands of them. They're incredible.
Man, I have to say something. I don't used to follow many motorcycle designer or any about motorcycle, but if I follow someone, I follow Barbara.
Yeah.
It's
So
so
inventive.
good, man. It's so good.
So
I
good.
love him.
So good. It's like he taps into exactly like the thing that I think we love most about the design of these things, which is just these beautiful forms. Super amazing.
It's super clever, man.
Very clever. I remember when we were doing this, we're like, crap, he did this one and he did that one. And we didn't want to rip it off because we're like, crap, he's like done every bike version, you know? Which hats off to him. It was incredible. And it's just so rad.
All the right choice, all the right design. He got it right. He invested and he pulled it off. And it looks brilliant. It looks amazing.
It's super smart too, because there's so many motorcycles that are shot from the side. So he's able to just copy and paste and like kind of smash them together. But I'm not trying to say anything less of his imagination or her imagination. I don't know the person, the artist. I've spoken to them briefly, I believe, on social media. Super nice person. But yeah, it's a huge shout to Barbera because the coolest designs, so beautiful, and such a great imagination, and just like such a big muse for both of us during this process.
Yeah, it was. I remember that back then we were back and forth. Have you seen this? Have you seen that?
Like, yeah, he's doing it all. Damn it.
He's doing it all. Cheers.
Yeah, because we also don't want to like repeat anything else as well, you know, of course, because it's like, damn, you know, there's so much epic stuff out there. Land speed bikes, which are just like the coolest shit ever.
Nice.
It's like, you know, again, it comes down to like why we love like weapon stuff, or we use these things as inspiration because they're designed for a task and they're designed to do something extremely well, and only that thing, and that's it. And there's something beautiful about that. These guys doing these interesting things. Yeah. Just so cool. It's just so rad when somebody is like, well, I'm going to try this thing and I'm going to put everything I have into it and let's see how it goes. And they're just doing wild stuff.
Yeah, with a white a guy there, and it's a gray motorbike.
Yeah, this one. It's like
It's really cool, man.
Super cool. This is what I was talking about when I was growing up. I would have these like Japanese magazines, and they would have these guys that would make these like spec models in like small spec models, and they would do all these kind of things. And I would always be like, oh my God, that's the coolest thing ever. Yeah. Later in my career, and this is actually this guy named Radical Ducati. Let's see if I can find one of my favorite versions of his bikes. This bike right here, Sportiva. It's really, I mean, he does these radical Ducatis, basically. He takes these Ducatis and like rehabs and rebuilds them up and like makes new versions of them. And he was one of those like real key influences to me on the Batmobile, or the Bat bike, actually. The exposed exoskeleton from the Ducati, which was derived from the Monster, I believe. That language, and then like how he kind of puts these all together and like hodgepodges and clashes multiple generations together and makes these like really rad motorcycles. And to me, they're like some of the most beautiful motorcycles of their kind. So yeah, these are the key references when it comes to motorcycles. Cafe racers, the cake bike is obviously like one of the key inspirations, and you'll see it definitely in the design. But it was really fun to just kind of like take all of these inspirations, these things, and clash these worlds together, you know?
Exactly. I was thinking right now about this. All right, you have all these amazing visual reference, key element, and then you have the real motorbikes, also concept being done. And if you squeeze your eyes,
it all
you
blends.
will see, here you go. You got a new thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if there's anything that you can glean from this while watching this, if you already do it, but if you don't do it now, it's like the more diverse your potential influences can be, the more interesting your outcome could potentially be. It's why I'm inspired by like nature and things, because nature is often kind of looked over because we take it for granted because it just exists. But it's actually one of the key inspirations for most anything that's awesome. And we come from nature in a sense, you know, obviously. So yeah. Those are my inspirations. So as I was going, so if I kind of go into here,
oh boy, this could be really cool.
It was funny because I was cringing hard because this is before we kind of established a workflow, and we have I think I would say somewhat repeatable, but unique and somewhat robust workflow now, which has been really great. We've been exercising it and trying it,
Yeah.
which is good and at the same time bad, because when you're discovering a new workflow, you're finding out a lot of faults and flaws in your process and trying to make something work. But the fun thing about this, so originally I think like most things that happen, is take the pieces that we already have. I think this is Andreas Ezelius's Ducati bike that I got from him. Mm-hmm. I believe he has it on Gumroad, but it's an incredible model. Andreas Ezelius is like one of the most amazing CGI artists and incredible modeler too.
He's a master, man.
A master, yeah. We used his engine, his BMW E30 M3 engine in the Zelica build, which is awesome. So yeah, big thanks to him. But using all the pieces, so kind of treating it like I would imagine if I had all this stuff in my garage. So it's like, oh, I have this motorcycle, I have this front clip from here, and then this thing from there, and so on and so forth. And motorcycles that I've acquired from buying them from Squire or whatever. And then I'll just take it from the side profile and like really roughly, quickly sketch out an idea, try to get the idea. So this is, I believe this is one of the bases. I forget the model of this one, but this was like the core. I was like, oh, okay, I think I can figure out how to use this wheelbase and like extract it and then like break it apart, reduce that, remove this. And then so my original idea was to basically take a combustion engine style system, but then I realized I didn't want to have a huge bulky motorcycle. I didn't want to have it like really bulky out. So I figured, oh, I'll do like something internally, and then I'll use Cake as an example and like build out this system. And then I was originally, I'm glad I didn't do this, but I was originally trying to find a way to like make it like kind of like Tron bike, wild, like a big blocky shape, like make it super geometry
like
based,
brutal.
you know?
Yeah.
Super brutal, super weird. And again, since I'm not familiar with riding motorcycles and I don't ride motorcycles, I don't care. There's no rules, you know, it's like me just playing and having fun.
Yeah.
And breaking the rules basically. And then, so I was like, went into Cinema 4D and quickly just blocked out simple geo and like booleans and try to see like, oh, how would this work? And I think I quickly realized, because of the clutch and all of the different mechanisms and the conventional way, I couldn't get the dimensions, the size that I wanted. So again, the power to this and the power of using CGI is being able to quickly see how things look and work. Yeah. This is like an idea I wanted to do if it was like a land speed kind of thing. Obviously, shape the front differently, but yeah.
Man, this is really cool to see. So basically, there's something interesting here. This it's really cool to see you explaining this. Also, me realizing your workflow. Sometimes I get it for granted, but this is something really cool I want to mention here. So basically, you're doing this sketch, you have the vision, you're putting down maybe half an hour, and then quickly go to Cinema 4D and pull this off really quickly to learn about your thoughts and ideas and react to it. Instead of doing commitment and doing beautiful sketching and then beautiful model and then you react. I think you go quicker. Maybe in one day, you know what's going to be, right? So rather
couple hours.
Even couple hours. Here you go. So you go super fast and trying to see, is this something like I like it or not? So you react really quickly.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, my own method, because I know how to draw, and I know how to draw pretty well, and so I already know how that works, but I also know that if I sit and spend the time to draw all day, that I'm going to be invested in that, and I'm not going to hold back. So I'm not going to let it evolve in the next stage. So right here is like a quick, maybe 5-minute. I feel like this is a weird thought that I have, but it's something I really strongly believe in, is your instincts on the first 5 minutes are essential. And getting those instincts out as fast as possible is your job. Refining that is saved for later. So it's like, I know I'm hungry, so I'm going to make a pizza. So then I know that I'm making a pizza.
Yeah.
That's it. And then what I put in the pizza and how I raise the dough and all that's a whole nother process.
But you know,
the impetus.
It's not going to be a spaghetti with some tomato sauce. Yeah. Exactly.
And that's when you get confused as an artist. You're like, well, I wanted pizza, but now I have lasagna, and it's like a half lasagna pizza thing. And it's like, I don't even want it. Like, okay, well, you didn't. So yeah, and I relate everything to food. But it's super key. And thanks for pointing that out, because I do take that for granted too. It's because of from years and years of drawing and being like, it's got to be like my drawing. It's like, well, sure. But so blocking it in 3D really helps me trouble set, like basically test and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, how come it doesn't work? And being able to see it dimensionalize is really, really key. So like taking that and going like, okay, well, this is what I thought it would be, but how does it actually look? And how does it look from like this angle, or how does it look from that? The thing I was trying to do here was like really, really, really simplify the forms, like trying to go, okay, like how can I make this like one plane of a polygon and one plane here? And it's also attached to the fact that I, at this time too, and still, I'm not a great poly modeler. So it's like, how am I going to really manifest this and build this? I'm really good at CAD modeling, but I'm not good at polygons, subdivisions, stuff like that. It drives me nuts. And you'll see that there was a style that happened. I think you see it in the Triad car, because I'm like, well, I don't know how to like make soft forms, so I'm just going to like make a brutalist triangular wildness thing, So a style derives from my weaknesses potentially. But once I started to see it, I was like, oh, okay, this is freaking cool. It works.
Yeah, man. But there is a strength over there, be able to pull this off without the complexity of surface in poly model. That is something really cool to develop. It's not that easy as you can just making simple angles. You make it look believable and harmonious and with grace, all these polygons. It's not just whatever. No. It has some purpose, which is really cool to see here.
Well, I try, as you know, I really try. And I try to get it as close as possible. All fairness too, I did go into CAD, which I'll talk about here in a minute. And I did build out the frame, and I did have all the frame working here. But the real key here, and the thing I love about building things in CGI, is being able to dimensionalize them, see them in space, and then be able to, like, even in the viewport, just move a light around and just see how the silhouette catches light. Even though I know it's not, there's no AI, there's no GI balance and nothing like, articulating the form, but just being able to see it and being able to look around it. It's almost like the reason why I do this in the beginning is to quickly say, I want pizza. And within 5 minutes, I don't, how I work. I don't like to spend more than 5 minutes in this space. I mean, we just designed a car together, and we did, when we got the first impetus out, it's like ripping. Oh yeah, it's good. This right here. Remember that? It was like within 5 minutes, like, there it is. It exactly what it needs to be. And it's the same concept. And then it's just refine until you get to the final mark. But if you don't have that interaction instantly, you're just going to be kind of lost potentially.
This is really cool, man. Thank you for sharing this, because somehow now I know the process, but it's really cool to see this process is being part of you for, I don't know, for how many. It's been already established in your workflow, and it's great to see you are sharpening and getting better on this and this. And also, thank you, man. Thank you for giving me on this journey. I've been learning a lot about this process. It's super cool to see.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thanks for being a part of it. And we both have a lot of fun with this stuff too. And I think we just take it for granted. When I grabbed all these, I was like, ultra cringe, but at the same time, like the original artist in me would be like, oh, don't show that stuff because it's unrefined, shitty sketches. But actually that's what I should show. If you know my art, or if you're familiar with the things I've done, and those that are listening, I did a bunch of like stuff like these Lost Boy drawings. I did like hundreds of them, and I love drawing, I love painting. That's where I kind of come from. So I have an essence of understanding how to like move ideas on a visual thing. But when you dimensionalize them, it completely changes. A standard 2D painting or a piece of image has a power on its own and can be incredibly effective. But when you're doing what we're doing, which is your dimensionalized forms, and then you're also attaching a usability to it, which is obviously I'm not doing that here. That's when things really kind of shift and change, and you have to kind of build and kind of build and create a system, a framework of thinking in order to make it effective. I knew that I wanted like a lattice kind of like, I love the idea of like, hey, you can just get these pieces in the mail and then they send it to you, and then you can assemble it with screws and like bonding material. So I was like, oh, I'll just like construct this. This was when I was using Fusion 360, which I no longer use. I use plasticity now for various reasons. One of them is the usability of it. I find plasticity to be much more effective and more of a useful tool for me personally. But yeah, here's like the side, laying it all out.
Man,
here's the swing arm. Yeah.
I had to say, I remember back then you sharing all these whips with me. I was freaking out, like, God damn it, this guy is using CAD to create the chassis, motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, I had been using it for a while now. Vitaly and Maciej had introduced me to this program when we were working on Ghost in the Shell. And man, just being able to like cut and make hard forms and stuff. I think Vitaly went off to like go master Moments of Inspiration, which is another incredible CAD software. And then I think Maciej stopped using this a while ago. But it's the ability to basically cut forms and be to make like manufactured looking objects and stuff very quickly was just incredible. And so I just had a lot of fun when I did that Awaken Akira project with Mike. Everything that I built in that was with CAD, because I don't know how to describe it. I just Cinema 4D either is too difficult for me to understand polymodeling, or I just can't grasp it, or I don't know what it is. Maybe AI will help me. Yeah, it's like a weird thing. It's like this weird dimensional way of thinking that I just don't think that way yet.
It's a mental process. It's completely different operation. And I can tell you feel really comfortable doing CAD. I can tell that. It's the same as you doing design.
Yeah. It's just sharper. It's basically the resolution just gets sharper. So I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, and like go into the details and like chamfering and like adding the hyper details and all that stuff, like stuff I love to do. So, but yeah, it was using CAD, laying out the frame. I don't know. I thought I had a sketch. I know I did. I sketched out I think this is one of them where I kind of sketched out the basic forms, and I would take this basic form and I knew exactly what it needed to be, and I just brought it into Fusion and I laid it behind it and I laid a template and I just started blocking it out and cutting, extruding, and then dimensionalizing it. And as you dimensionalize something, obviously it's like, okay, well, like this big chunky thing, it's a motorcycle, so let's like cut it out and create forms and extrude things. And then there's an order of operation that you do with that too. So you can't just like start slicing through things. You have to think, okay, if I go here, then how far? Then if I go here, how far? Where do I go? Do I go this one first and then that one? And you have to think about it as like this weird set of operations, which is a whole different way of thinking. But it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Man. I was thinking about something. Do you mind to go back to your sketch?
Sure.
Maybe something is worth to mention, because I know you were rushing here because you have already a mental vision. The visualization is going to be there in your brain, and you need to go further in the sketch because you know what it's going to be, to be able to judge it's going to work or not. You know already. Doing a few lines in the sketch, half an hour, boom, And something like is worth to mention, it's a process for your own creativity and workflow. It's just for you. I guess when you're working with someone else, you depure and evolve a little bit more to be able to explain the idea, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I think if you're just making something for yourself in your own intuition, it's like one of the most freeing things you can ever do. And this is why I really encourage everybody to do that, because you learn the most. You learn the most at any time you're just trying to do the best thing you can. But you learn a lot about your own personal instincts. I had this one thing I used to do with my buddy Sam, and we would do what was called a 20-minute design. I think it was our 10-minute designs, where we would stress test ourselves to see if we can make a movie poster or some cool design in 10 minutes. And what it did is it revealed to us our weaknesses of repetition, the things that we did on instincts to make something special, good. Because if you put a pressure on it, 10 minutes, you have to just make something great in 10 minutes. Okay, what exactly does that mean? And then you kind of see, if I'm really desperate, I'll use this grit, or I'll use this texture, or I'll use this color, or I'll use this typeface or whatever. And it really quickly revealed, okay, like these are the repetitions that I'm using to try and make something great. when in fact you can actually make something great by unraveling those decisions and those things, the process of doing it. So it's an interesting thing. It's all design thinking, different ways of thinking potentially. Don't do those anymore. It should be not a bad idea to actually maybe start doing those
problem
again.
Solving.
Rapid problem solving. Are you taking the problem solving situation and you're removing the time element from it so that you can quickly, it's like almost like lifting the veil of repetitious, like, so let's say you have like a creative rut problem or something. And if you do that, you potentially reveal to yourself instantly, like, oh, all I'm doing is just repeating myself by using the same like thing or whatever it might be. And by doing that, you're causing a problem in your workflow, and then you can expose it and then remove it from your workflow. Let's say you don't work like I work. Like, let's say your whole thing is you need to go steps, but every step has to be clear to you.
Yeah.
So you can't just do a fast sketch. You have to sit there and meditate on like the drawing and making the drawing incredibly perfect, because the next stage you want to have that clarity. Whereas I work super rough and block it in 3D and then refine. So it's a different approach potentially.
This is really cool, man, because I was about to ask you, sometime in my workflow, I like to go a little bit deeper in order to be motivated.
Yeah.
I see what it's going to be, but it's a blur. I need to dilate down and say, all right, I want at least to get the 50% to feel pumped and say, all right, this is worth to invest the time, because my blur is not really defined or secure or mature enough, depending how you call it. That's why I have a massive respect for your commit. You go in 30 minutes and you know it's going to work. In my side, I feel insecure in that regard. I need to go further in the process of refining and see and judge. I like this. All right, cool. I'm good. I need to do that. And sometimes I feel like I'm really dragging in that regard. You have the vision committee. You go, and you can tell, and has sort of a healthy envy from this process where I can see the first sketch is already there. I can see the motorbike there. You knew it. But for the sake of making sure, also maybe just for having fun, you did another exploration. But you knew your first drawing was, spot on, right?
Interesting. I guess that makes sense. Yeah. That's something I actually envy in what you do too, is the amount of time and effort. I'm feeling it now. Actually, last night, I'll show you after the podcast, but there are LMP cars that we're working on right now. I felt it too when I saw your sketch. And I was like, yeah, damn, I need to do the same thing just so I can match you here. And it's cool. That's what I love about working with you, is that we can push each other and keep going, basically, and keep pushing each other to get to a place where we probably normally wouldn't go. So like you saying you envy that, I know my instinct and that's it. I'm not going anywhere other than that place. But then sometimes I go, it might have been good if I just stopped for a second and then rethought about a different thing. It's a different approach, I think. I don't have regret. I have regrets on this build, but they're not bad regrets. It's just, if I would have thought about it differently on certain things, but
I think at some point, all our builds, we have something to improve.
Yeah,
maybe regret is a strong word. Maybe it could be something to improve, right?
Yeah, exactly. Something to improve. That's exactly it. And I think with this one, it's just, again, my hurdle is the poly modeling thing. So I think what I would love to have done is gone further with this design and integrated soft forms that would have been soft, but because when this released, people were so polarizing on it. Some people understood what it was, and then the other people were just like, the freaking air, the burger, you can. It's like, yeah, totally, guys. Like, we get you. And they also, they just wanted to be heard. And it's like, look, I get it. You're just a keyboard warrior, and your mom didn't hug you long enough, and this is your problem. And therefore,
warrior. I love it.
Yeah, keyboard warriors, dude, or thumb warriors, whatever you want to call them. But this is a concept, It's like it's a conceptual design. It's an idea, and I get it. But at the same time, it's just fun, Like seeing this all come together to me was like, yes, dude, this is so fun. Like it all is coming as to one concept, I don't know. This didn't take super long time. I know I was in between a couple projects, probably like we always are. We're never really I think it's really rare for you and I to ever be like fully all in on what we're doing with Haste, because it's a hobby of ours, basically. We should do that, though. I'd probably be pretty insane if we were just able to go full power on this stuff. But yeah, so this is like kind of seeing it all come together and the pieces all kind of mashing up together, and me just also testing things.
Do you have a memory of this process where you get the point and you were really hype and really pumped in some point, like now it clicked and then boom, you were really in the boost mode? Is that
Right
the
here.
rendering part right there?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's always like the part, it's like there's a lot of unknown, right? So it's like sketches and ideas. I mean, it all comes from synthesizing references and then grabbing key references, looking at them, and then going, how can I... So Barbera had done all the cool bikes. I mean, I would love to do that, but he did it. So damn you. So we had to invent a new thing, and then sketching and coming up with something. And it's like, look how different the bike looks from this. This is what I was thinking it was going to be. It's like going to be this really cool, raw, exposed thing. And I wouldn't mind actually doing something like that with a nice, cool swing arm. But to be honest, it's already been done. In all fairness, I could be wrong, but I've never seen a bike like this. Ever. So it's its own thing. And that was actually part of the goal as well, is like make something that no one ever made or would make or has seen before. And that was like the inspiration behind this, because it was like, well, I don't think I've seen this before. So mission accomplished. Why it hasn't been seen? Well, probably because it's unwritable, and that's its own problem. Yeah. This is when it was like, okay, so the CAD's done, the inspiration's done, the sketch is done, the low poly just testing's done. Now everything's coming into, now we can see it. And this is always, this is our favorite time. It's like, yeah, dude, this is cool. I can,
When the bike reveal himself.
yes, finally can see what it looks like. And everything that has been kind of anticipated or built up loosely is revealing itself, like all of these low poly angles. It was such a difficult thing to take an organic form and reduce it down to its most core thing, but also not make it look like it's some fat chunky thing that's just sitting there.
Yeah.
Like creating speed to it was actually really challenging, but just completely distilling it down. Yeah.
So also in this stage, you're still able to manage to tweak things, right? To bend things, because you are reacting with lighting and camera, so you are going to be able to detect where it could be improved.
Yes.
You're still, even in this stage, you still kind of lose in terms of what could be improved, right?
Yeah, so the CAD's locked because I don't want to go back to CAD, but the body is very loose still, so I can grab polygons and move them around and shift them and try different things exactly, which I do. Eventually, I start to change things slightly. If you see the process from one to the next, like you'll see that it kind of shifts. Things start to shift a little bit. I'm also testing like, it'd be so cool to have like this section clear and being able to see it. And like, to me, it's like, I'm pretty sure I remember sharing these with you, and I was like, yeah, it's here, yay! Like I could see it, and it's like revealing itself. It's the summarization of all of the ideas synthesized together, and here we are. Yeah.
It's cool. One of the motorbike in the side view, you don't reveal the actual cage. You got a black one on the right bottom.
Black one on the right. This one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Where you just remove any frame of the bike. It's just all the skin. Let's say that. I don't know what's the official name for motorbikes. The cover.
Yeah. Probably just a cover or skin or shell or something.
Shell, yeah. Really cool. Even this one was really cool, man.
Yeah. It was fun. So much fun. And this is like, you can tell I'm having fun. I'm having fun when I get this many renders, because I'm like, oh, that was cool. That was cool. This is cool. This is cool. Yeah. And this is like, it's funny because like you see like this stage is like, oh, I'm just working. I'm just grinding to get it done. I'm excited here, but I'm like, okay, I got the essence here. And I know when something's going to work. I mean, it's this, dude, it's like right now, I can't wait to get to this stage with our latest builds right now. I'm just like, I can totally see like all the holes through this thing and how it's going to look. And it's just really exciting. But yeah, this is the quintessential celebration of the moment. Yeah. And from here, it gets even more crazy. So then it's like, all right, now that was the exterior. So I also wanted to have two bikes, basically. One that was the exterior and then one that's an interior of
And
the
let me
bike.
guess. This part is also really fun to do for yourself, for sure.
Yeah,
You have tons of fun with this one, for sure.
it's so fun. Yeah, it's so fun because it's just like, this is where all the fun stuff happens. This is also around, I think, when I was making that project Evident Mirror too. I think that I was learning a lot and I was using a lot of the same ideas and methodologies, and it was very much aligned with all of that stuff.
Yeah, I remember that shade, the white one without the dirt. I can tell
Yeah.
you. Same material.
The ultra dirty shader.
Nice.
Yeah. It was everywhere. And it costed me.
The pink one. Yes.
Yeah. So much stuff. Yeah. Yeah. I think this was like when I was laying out graphics and just testing them and seeing how it all looks. I don't think I named it then, but maybe that's when I named it the Sakudo. But yeah. And then like just looking at it like, damn, sick. It works.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, always seeing it from all the angles and just trying to see. It's actually such a. Before I did CGI, I was like really like, I don't know, because I was a 2D guy. You know, I was always all my ideas were just they lived in the 2D space. And I mean, I'm being completely transparent, and honest here. It's so difficult to transfer your ideas to dimensional form, but once you do it, it's the most like rewarding thing because you can just look around it and see it. And it becomes dimensionalized, and it's like, wow, I didn't even know. Like, so when I built this, I was like, oh, I need to make sure that there's this like, this piece comes out here, but there needs to be clearance so that it can turn. And I was, I wish I had GPT at the time. I'd be like, how much angle of pitch does the steering on the front bike need to have for a sport bike? You know, then I could have just cut this out or whatever. I think I allowed enough steering angle, but probably not a ton. But again, this is just a concept, which is fun.
I wonder, you working with so many builds already, and as you mentioned, you started from 2D from early days. Now, could you see yourself evolving from 2D to CGI? Now, when you're working in a project, you're able to visualize better what it could be in three-dimensional form, or you still kind of block in 2D, and then starting from 2D, start to visualize slowly to 3D. How's that for you?
That's a good question. Thank you for asking it. I think that just being inspired by you, Mache, all my friends, everybody that made the big leap into 3D and how amazing the work looks, it's just always been something that I wanted to do. It's just such a big leap with such a big frontier, as you know. But I mean, if I think about it in the future too, it's like we have different workflows now. It's like using splines and then managing that and then using emergent different types of technology and different things. So ultimately the goal is just to get the idea, the main concept out as fast as possible and then rapidly iterate on that as much as possible to come up with something unique and different. It's difficult though. Yeah.
Do you feel now different? Now looking back this bike and now you have to do another bike. Do you reckon yourself as a better artist or designer?
Oh yeah. I mean, this is old now. So there's things about it that I really like. I like that it's its own thing. Like I appreciate that. Personally, I appreciate that I went all in on just making something unique, and that's cool. Unique in a sense where it's like it's still ripping off like cake thing and stuff, but yeah, I think that for me, I executed what it was that I was trying to do. So I'm thankful for that. But if I were to go back and like really reimagine this, I think I would go further. I would use plasticity and go further into my insecurities and come up with something that probably wouldn't be just like a work of art. It would be more of like like even if it was even more functional. Because I think one of our goals now is like taking a lot of our creations and bringing them to life.
Yeah.
So having something that could become to life, and I'd probably also use a combustion engine. I wouldn't do EV just because I would like to try that challenge to try and fit a combustion engine in there and see how I can make it work too. Yeah.
Screw man.
But yeah, it's all an evolution. I look back at this like, damn, we did go pretty hard onto a lot of stuff. I mean, all the details was lots of fun. I think this is like a kit bash from like Andreas's model, like other things too. And
And of course, amazing decals. Yes.
Yeah, you got to have the decals. Decals give scale, sense of form. Yeah, interesting things too, like all the hardware and like, yeah, all of these details. This is from Andreas's bike, I believe.
Yeah.
And then putting them all together and kit bashing them all so that it all works together. I mean, it's like, come on, man. Look at all these details.
Nice.
The kickstand. Since the bike was so brutal and simple, it's like, okay, now it's like, got to add all the ultimate details inside the rest of it. Because if you don't have that, then it's just going to feel even more fake. So that was my resolve to that. And then here we go. We're getting into decal land. So I knew, you know, I love graphics and design and stuff, and I love just ripping through these things. So once I named it, I was like, oh, patterns and just like a graphic sheet. When I was a kid, you'd build models and stuff, and I loved just like the graphic sheets that you can just like put decals on the thing. And to me, it was like one of the most fun things to do. And
It's cool, man, to see that, because something similar happened to me as a kid. I used to paint by hand all my cars and creating liveries. So it's sort of similar approach.
it's so cool. It's the most fun thing because it's like, imagine this without it. It doesn't look cool. So being able to take this and build up like some fun custom sheets of things and just looking at it differently. And it just, for me, it evolves the form of it and it just makes it so cool. Nothing changes something as much as like resurfacing it with some sort of graphics and decals and things too. This is your tire. Carlos made the most incredible tire. I know you'll get into that when we get into your episode as well, for your bike.
Oh, yeah.
But that was another thing that really ties everything together. Obviously, is like the ultra detail of things.
Man, it made me so happy because I remember back then we were talking about a motorbike. As soon as you mentioned motorbike, I thought, damn, we don't have tires for the motorbike.
Yes, first question.
Yeah,
Tires.
to me it was, tires. Oh shit! I need to go really deep on the tires. But maybe in my episode I can make a breakdown. But basically, as soon as you share with you on the tire and you put it in the bike, I was so happy to see, yes, it's working. The tire looks legit, and Ash is using the tire. So awesome, man.
Well, it was a giant gift, obviously, and it's something that it just, yeah. Again, it just adds to the validity of these things. And so instead of having the outside shell, I did the inside shell and put all these graphics in there. And it's just so fun, like being able to see it all together. And like, this is when the pleasure really happens, because it's like, oh my God, like all that time, it's all here. Like even the slight bend in the chain and like all of these things and the swing arm and being able to see like the mechanics inside here, like all those little details all add up. And again, this is more of like a design concept. It was more of like, let's flex what we can do if we have no rules and imagination to just kind of bleed into everything. And this is what that was. It was so damn fun. So damn fun. Yeah.
I wonder something here. It's sort of a pleasant moment, right? Where you are the photographer, designer, and the graphic design, and all together, and you see this coming alive in such a realistic way. It's kind of a nice moment.
It's a total revelation. Yeah, that's actually a good point. Yeah, because there's all these different roles that you carry when you do these things, right? The first one is like reference gatherer, and then the next one is like a synthesizer where you just grab everything and you synthesize what it is using what would we term as a designer, and then distilling that down further, and then becoming the modeler and the engineer, the quote unquote engineer, and then taking that and then becoming a graphic designer again and making decals, and then you're lighting a studio, and now you're a photographer and you're lighting and rendering. So there's so many different stages, and it's so fulfilling. I mean, when I see this, I'm just like, yeah, baby, woohoo! Like I guess I'm trying to do, and this was make these podcasts so cathartic, is I'm just trying to like tap into what made me so excited about these things as a kid, and doing them now, it's just so fun because it's just like reliving childhood. Like if I showed this picture of this to my child self, I know my child self would be like, whoa, cool. It's just so fun, so cool, and the imagination and the ideas and why. There's so many questions in here. What is that? Why is that? What's this? Yeah, so fun.
But to me, it's living the dream.
Yeah,
Living the
yeah.
dream of be able to translate what you have in your brain and putting it down. And despite all the compromise and all the constraint we have, still we keep commit to do it and having satisfaction of doing it. Even also, doing the podcast is really cool to see and communicate, and it's a good reminder to look back and realizing, yeah, even though all the struggle, we still having fun, and even we can now learn about the process, which is really cool. And something like I've been thinking today in preparation for the podcast, I've been thinking about, as you know, the controversy, us doing motorbikes where we don't used to any really doing motorbikes, and now we deliver these guys, and it was a little bit noisy out there. And basically what I have in my brain thinking today about your different approach and relationship with social media and the motorbike we have here, I've been thinking what it could be the perfect analogy for this bike. And I've been thinking for a while. Please let me know if I'm really off or something clicked to you. But to me, the exercise of doing something special, coming from heart, from your side, for your really internal process or experience, and pull this off, this exercise of design, as could be comparable with the Lamborghini Countach. I love this analogy because to me, Lamborghini Countach is one of the most beautiful car ever, despite of the functionality of the car.
Yeah.
Right? So what I'm thinking is now coming back to when we delivered these renders, and it was a little bit noisy out there because people consider this bike as a real project reality. I can confuse maybe. They think,
Sure.
what? That's stupid. You can do that because blah blah blah, X reason, engineering, mathematics, whatever you call it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is fair enough. All right, cool. Thank you for your feedback.
Yeah.
But to me, it's always something like it's quite easy to go in that road of roasting people out without even thinking who is behind, what is the purpose, right? People directly straight away pointing issues. And I think, I don't know if I'm rambling too much, but I think to me that's what my mental process today. I think about this bike, and I feel so proud and so happy that you were commit to do it and finish it and drop it, and that's it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm really off of this process.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. I mean, we did it together, so we both were on, we're like, we're going to do this and it's going to be weird and whatever. Yeah. There was these two brothers, they were the Wright brothers, and they invented flight travel for humans. And before that, people were like, and it's just how it goes. I think that we are all adverse to change, and whether we want to admit it or not, we're all adverse to change, and it's tough. And so when somebody goes off and does something, another person's going to be like, well, no. And then for these reasons that exist currently, and it's like, well, you're not wrong. And that's definitely a possibility. But this is what's cool about doing these things, is they're an exploration of curiosity. And if you're not going to use art as an exploration of curiosity, then what are you going to use it for? And that's really the fun part of it. And that's when things get to be really interesting, and you get to have a lot of fun, and you get to exchange things. And I'm the first person to say that this is probably not a rideable motorcycle, but it can be designed to do so. I'm sure with the amount of time and effort and thinking about it and prototyping it, I imagine we could definitely do that. One of the concepts I had with this bike is that it was like a air jacks, basically, so it would accelerate, it would lift itself up so you can have ground clearance, and then also that it would fit and form to the rider's body by pushing itself out like a moving, breathing plate, basically, that shifts and moves to the body, or depending on what kind of speed. So if you're riding at a certain speed, it would these would fold in, and basically it's like a terraforming origami that would shift and move. But again, if I don't do this and I don't spend the time to do that, then who will? And if I don't explore my own curiosities, then I think I'm causing a disservice to myself and then everybody else too, that they're not going to be able to see these imaginations. And what if the Wright brothers decided to say, you know what, there's so many people that are being so rude to us and telling us that we're idiots and this and that, or Nikola Tesla, or all these people. It's like, you have to have a little bit of stupidity and bravery internally when you go off and make something. And I'm not saying that I'm anywhere near what those guys are, obviously, but it's the human experience, right? It's going off and making something different for yourself and having fun doing it. And that is it. Yeah. There's nothing else attached to it. It's just having fun, being silly.
Yeah, not taking yourself too seriously about
no.
Have to be legit 100%. Otherwise, people are going to comment on it.
Well, they're going to comment no matter what.
Exactly. In that case, just be quiet and don't do nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Through your life on the bin, because everyone's going to comment anything. So,
yeah. Well, actually, to kind of touch on that too, and maybe it's a good thing to talk about it quickly. I remember being kind of emotionally upset by it. Like, I was like, damn, people are so rude and so mean and like this and that. And I don't bother with listening to anybody anymore, really, unless like I love you and I know you. Other than that, your words don't really have a deep effect on me, unfortunately, or fortunately. I feel like that if you don't know me, you don't know my intention, and you don't understand what I'm doing, sure, you can have a valid point, but whether I have the time to digest it or process it, it's probably not going to be valid. And so whatever. And just because we're all connected doesn't mean I need to be connected. And that's a part of it. And so I think with this one, it was a good lesson. It was like, well, I'm still going to do this. We're still going to have fun doing this. And one of the lessons was, who cares what people have to say about what you do?
But then when you dropped this bike, back then you were looking to the comment, right? You were reading the comments.
I was trying to validate the actions, whether I was trying to be honest with myself or not. And I was trying to trying to feed like, okay, where does this sit? And then I realized, oh, this doesn't sit well at all with most people. It's like a very polarizing experience, and people get really emotional and upset about it. So I'm like, oh, okay, well, like, then I should not care about what they have to say, because they're obviously missing the intention that this is a design exercise, something fun to do, something creative. And that's okay. I think that everybody that was like saying that this is horrible or whatever, they're not wrong in their opinion. Just like I'm not wrong in my opinion saying it isn't horrible. Yeah. So it's a zero-sum game. Yeah.
Well, what I see is that people's reaction is different. If you have a sketch, the same motorbike, you have just a sketch, people wouldn't be as critical as is this render. Something is there. When people, normal average people see a render, get confused about reality or CG or AI, whatever.
Especially at the time.
They feel like this is a project which is being considered. They start to be more critical. Wait, why this bike doesn't have whatever? That's not possible. So why this looks so real? Something is wrong here, guys. Something is wrong. Please fix this. Stop internet. We need to fix this.
Yeah,
right?
This is a massive flaw with Web 2.0, which is the social web, which is based on these social media platforms, which are causing a great disservice to the human psyche. Web 3.0 should be interesting, and I'm looking forward to Web 4, which is going to be more AI integrated, where it's just going to be like everybody can talk, but not everybody can be heard. If you want to listen to it, you can, which would be interesting. But yeah, it's true. And I think you're right. If it was a sketch and a concept, but because it becomes a photorealistic looking actual thing, then yeah, it starts to shift everything too. And also putting like the Tesla logo on there created more controversy and more confusion too, which was by design. I like to fuck with people sometimes, so that's my fault as well. So I'm just as guilty of the thing, man. As well.
You knew what you were doing, right?
I'm a guilty boy. You know me. I'm an evil man. I'm a real evil person. Yeah, this is me in Photoshop. I think I was quickly trying to draft up some liveries, some concepts, some ideas, and just ripping through like, oh, the design can go here or here.
Man, I love the first one. So good.
The first
The
left
first
one.
design. Yeah, that one. So good.
And see what you just did is you encouraged it. And if you told me that and I was showing you, I'd be like, okay, I'm doing that one, you know? we do this all the time too. We're constantly like egging each other on. Oh, that was so sick. That one's awesome. And again, we're just like little kids, just having fun, just being silly, playing, trying different things. And the cool thing about this is once you get to CGI, it's just like, it's literally infinite.
Endless,
You can
yeah.
endless. So it's like, what about this? What about that? What about this? What about that? And it's like, well, that looks cool, or that looks interesting, or like that orange is weird. You can tell that these are all IPR screenshots because like everything's so dull. There's no contrast in it, so it's like there's no punch or push to the image.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is before I was like really trying to exercise that as well. But these were like, I wanted to show this because this was like a real fun segue into just exploring graphics in the white on white, which again, if we go back to the references, I mean, come on here. Yeah, you know, it's like where we are. We're in that space. You know, it's odd too. I don't know if you do this, but like when I do this, when I'm at this stage, I don't really look at the references anymore. I refuse to because I don't want to be too impacted by them. Mm-hmm. So I just go, okay, I have that original in print on my mind, and then I don't want it to just kind of like be the script of my mind, basically.
So basically, you let the item to go further in different direction. Whatever it tell you to go, right? It just what it told me.
The item, the object becomes the inspiration at this point. Yeah. It's like now I'm not listening to anything other than what the object's telling me. Like, if it's like this, then it's like that. All right, this is how it feels. Yeah, this is when I actually used a similar shader, not the same thing, but a similar shader to when we did the Legacy 240Z with the white paint, but the paint is so thin that you can see the carbon weave. Yeah, I tried to do the same thing here. So it's like this light thing. These are final renders. I don't think these are graded though. They're quite lame looking. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, there's the rear. Simple. Okay. And then you built this epic motorcycle stand too. That was awesome because we were getting to the end. We're like, oh, we got to have a stand. And then you like made this the most insane stand. I was like, oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much.
A pleasure, man. It was super fun.
Yeah, so fun. So cool to be able to just see it too.
Is this the same studio lighting as the McLaren's one?
Similar. So similar ground. I think it's one of the similar grounds. And then just one big light diffused source and then a couple hits basically. Yeah, similar, very similar. And then this is our traditional studio lighting. Yeah, it all kind of comes together. And again, infinite ideas. It's like I don't know why I made that version, but I did.
It's super interesting, man, to compare ourselves in different workflow. What happened to me, I usually locked the aesthetic of the car, maybe maximum 2 colors. I knew it's gonna be black or red, or that's it. I don't used to explore that much as you do. It's crazy. You go wild and then just exploring ideas and exploring all different possibilities. On my side, I get stuck in black and then white or red. That's it. I can't. I just see my car super simple way. I don't know what it is.
Well, to be fair, I did leave it at this. So, the last final one is not this color. I went really wild and fucking weird. Yeah, because I was like, but yeah, I guess so. I mean, let's be fair. Like the Tyrant Viper was crazy colors and stuff too.
But what I mean is like you have exploration themes. You go further. I know it's gonna be few colors and that's it. I'm struggled to visualize what else it could be. There you go. Nice.
Yeah, I thought why not make it such like a baby blue, like a baby's car. Make it even more confusing for people. So yeah, I guess so. I mean, honestly, it's always gonna look the best when it's like in black or like silver. I mean, that's why most people own their cars. I mean, both of my cars are white, mainly because it's like I don't want to have to like clean them all the time. I would prefer black, like a black Raptor. Oh, they look every time I see them like, oh man, it's so much cooler. But then I'm like, I don't want to clean that every day because it just gets dirty, you know. But yeah, well, I have a black version too. This is the second to the last little section. But yeah, just exploring, having fun, and taking those liveries and like really going wild with them, and just kind of, yeah, who cares? Like, break the rules. If I'm gonna break the rules, I might as well like fully break them and be like silly with it.
Let's go wild. Yeah, man.
Fully committing, having fun, being silly, and exploring fun things. Yeah.
No. You cannot do that.
Yeah.
Because that looks realistic. And you know, if it's realistic, you cannot do that.
That's their voice, by the way.
Yeah, that's the voice of people commenting on the internet.
All the tears dripping all over the keyboards. Yeah. You know, anytime I encounter that too, I just feel like that's somebody that is jealous of your curiosity or your willingness to try things differently. And I feel that when I'm cynical or criticizing somebody else, I feel like if I'm being really honest with myself, I'm just criticizing myself for not being willing to think differently or to go abstract with things. But I totally get it. On the intention of this being a functional thing, it's not. So that's valid. But it's also a design.
My take on it, I feel like majority of people want to get involved. You want to get in conversation. They want to help. Maybe they don't know how to help, and they throw in just words.
Yeah.
But they want to participate in a way. They want to help. Hey, by the way, blah blah blah. Oh, thank you for your feedback.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's actually a good way to look at it, because it is true. That's what it kind of feels like. It's like they just want to help, but at the same time, they don't want to have the responsibility of actually doing the work. They just want to say like, "Hey, I told you my thoughts," and then like, "See ya." And you're like, "Well, that doesn't do much of anything. It's just an opinion." And opinions, everybody has them. So that means that they're pointless and useless because they're not valid. Here we go. Get the big boys.
These the shots, right?
This is when I was not messing around. Just being very serious here. Yeah. Well, I remember this is the first time we turned the studio red. And I remember when that happened, I was like, oh, baby, here we go. And that was a real fun kind of epiphany that happened.
Trust me, man. Trust me. I remember that day. You showed me this red studio. And I'm like, God damn it. This guy. This is fucking cool. It's going to be so hard to me. Don't copy this red studio. It's going to be so hard. Because it works so well. And since from them, I knew it's going to be all right. We started doing the red studio because this motorbike.
It just hit us both. Yeah.
It looks so good, man.
Well, it works. I mean, obviously, down to the tire that you had created is just incredible. Your mastery of understanding how this works, connecting that with these big, sharp, brutalistic forms. It's like, let's just look at this for a second and think about, like, it creates a lot of questions. What is this?
What the hell?
I recognize a part of this image, which is the tire, but everything else doesn't make any kind of sense. Well, also the holder, but it's like, again, I think that's a fun part about this. It's like, it's just trying different things, exploring different opportunities. And yeah, like, man, Corona, so great, man. Like this bounce that's coming off here and how natural that fall off is. It's like straight up legitimately great GI that feels real.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect that. You just throw the studio light and see what happens, and then the motorbike reveals himself. Boom.
Exactly. The underside catch and everything. So cool. Super fun. And these renders actually inspired me when I re-rendered some of the motorcycles in the Batmobile, or the Batman. And I used this as an inspiration because I was like, oh man, I got to go crazy and make some crazy stuff here. And that's what I did. Yeah. Yeah. All the references, all the details, and it all came together here. And then this is the stuff. And if you've seen this bike, you've probably seen these. What's cool about this is actually it went super viral. It went everywhere. It was nuts. It was like on everything. That was fun. All the butt hurt warriors. And then a lot of people were like, oh, that's cool. Interesting. Weird.
Something fresh, man.
It's just something weird. Yeah. Something different. Yeah. It really works in this space too. People are like, I can't believe Elon's making a bike. This was before the Cybertruck, I believe, too, to be fair. I don't think the Cybertruck was out.
I think it was before, right? Before.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure before it was publicly released. Oh yeah, that too. The timing of it. Yeah. This is exactly as I had intended, hopefully, and it worked out nicely. It's like this fragmentation of the forms. It's like, this is red because it's bouncing off that, but then you have this kick that creates that almost like that right off the spindle of the front wheel. Yeah, it's fun. Such a fun one. It's a lot of challenges in this one. Actually, not really. When I think about it, it was just like full on fun.
How long it was this motorbike? 3 weeks?
Yeah, this was we were freaking ripped. I think it was like 3, maybe 4 to final. Yeah.
What I remember, it was really 3 weeks, but it was full 3 weeks, like a really full on, and it was to me a massive struggle. So many unknowns, and really feeling uncomfortable doing the bike. I think the best part of these motorbikes for me is making the tires, where I feel like I'm home. I know how this works. I don't add the tire. It's just wild, just whatever.
Well, it's kind of interesting because you were like in the last episode with the Subaru, like it was a lot of unknowns because of time attack and unknowing like what it is. And then I think with the motorcycle, it's the same kind of thing for you. It's like, damn, this is an unknown for me. Yeah,
these 2 wheels.
Yeah, it's just 2 wheels. What the heck, man? Yeah, but you leaned into a lot of things like sci-fi, which I think is going to be really fun. Your influences, inspirations, and things are really cool to come out from that, which is really fun. We were actually supposed to record your motorcycle one. It's going to come out in the wrong order, actually. So, well, no, yours will come out before this. So when we're talking about it, that episode's already out probably, because yours is actually 13 and this is 14. I don't know. Somewhere we kept flipping our builds, ironically. But we're not good at math. We're good at making pixels, making people angry with our pixels.
I'm waiting for the implant in my brain to make all the math.
Oh, yeah. Soon, huh? I'm excited to be a math wizard. I know Kung Fu. I know basic math. I know like how to add a couple numbers. Nice.
I bet it's now way better.
Yeah. This has been great. Thank you for all the kind words and the fun with this journey. Thanks for taking this journey with me too, because we had a lot of fun with this one. This was quite the experience. I'm really happy.
I was really looking forward for this episode to give some insight. How was the process and why we ended up doing bikes? I think consider like we have only 2 bikes.
Yeah.
Is something interesting to hear. Maybe we can do another bikes. I don't know.
I really want to. I've been pushing us. Let's do one, but I wanted to do one with you and I together doing one since we've done a separate one and we go super powerful. Yeah. Plus now we know plasticity. I feel like what I would love to do is we would go really super hard and like kind of do something similar to what this Elf bike was, but like do maybe something different potentially. But this is
something like that could be built, right?
Something that could be built, exactly. That's like, we would take like a legit bike frame with the geometry, get it all like, basically get it as matched to like know where the wheels sit, everything needs to go, and then we would build the sickest skin for it, basically. That's kind of the goal, yeah. Which was kind of what we're doing with a lot of the new builds that we're doing now. It's like, how can this actually work? So it's not just a concept, but these kind of things are really essentially important. Like you said, use the Countach as an example. That's a literal driving car, but from everybody that I know that's driven one, they say it drives horrible, and it's so horrible to drive, but it's just the most beautiful thing. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean that's my relief when when I drop my bike. I know it's not gonna be the most beautiful thing ever. I cannot even close to the Countach, but hey. I trying to get close, and at least I had having fun. I'm pretty sure for you as well, having fun on this process, and that's the whole point.
Exactly, that's the goal of it. We hope that you're all enjoying these videos. We know that people are really digging it, so we appreciate you all listening to this and allowing us to have these cathartic experiences publicly with you all. It's been really fun. I'm really enjoying it, and thanks for being a part of it. And thanks to Carlos for being such an incredible human being. Thank you for all the awesome questions today. And we're looking forward to your episode. Looking forward to digging into that one. Yeah.
Thank you, man. Thank you
Kick
for
right
being...
in the butt.
Thank you, man, to be open to expose all your insight of this build. Is amazing to see your mental process and design process. It's great, man. Really humbling and really inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. Ciao, everybody.